So today we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man 2 Venom action figure from Hasbro. I am super excited to go ahead and open this guy up because this is going to be my very first Venom action figure, and this guy is absolutely massive, so let's not waste any time and let's get right into it. So right up front of the box, you can see it is a typical Marvel Legends packaging. You get your nice window to see the figure and all the accessories that you're getting. And this guy really is big. It's probably the size of like 2 or maybe even 3 Marvel Legends boxes right here. So yeah, this guy is huge. But moving on, of course, you have your Spider-Man 2 down here, and this is a part of the Gamerverse series. You have Marvel Legends right here. And of course, if you don't know it's Venom, you have it right there. Right on the side, you get another image of Venom himself. And of course, you can see that image much larger on the back with Miles, Spider-Man, and this is probably some of the coolest promo art from the game. I absolutely love it. And then if you look right over here, you have a nice little bio of Venom himself, so you could go ahead and pause and read that if you would like. Moving on to the side, you get a nice little window so you can let some light in for the figure. And then down here, you have another image of Venom. Right on top, you have Gamerverse. And right on bottom, really small, is all of your legal information and your QR code, or barcode. So without wasting any time, let's go ahead and open up Venom. Before we go ahead and fully take Venom out of his little plastic bubble, I just want to show you how he is immediately out of the packaging, and a really cool backdrop that the box actually has, which is of course the just white spider of Spider-Man, but I mean that's just awesome. And then of course you have Venom here with all of his accessories. There is no back tray, this is it. So let's go ahead and take him out. So here is Venom right out of the packaging, and he feels amazing. He looks awesome, and I mean, come on, it's just a big Venom. This guy is just so cool. But before we get more into him, let's take a look at some of the accessories that he comes with. Let's get started with his extra hand accessories. This is the only extra pair that you are going to get, which are of course fists. I would have liked maybe some extra hands just for some more options, but it is still pretty cool. The sculpting is very nice, and it is just like a flat black paint. There isn't any extra paint on there, but still pretty cool. The next accessory that he comes with is going to be this very nice symbiote grabbing effect, which is really cool. You can go ahead and plug this onto his arm. You can see the plug right there. And then of course you have that effect. And it does feel very strong. It's very nicely sculpted, and I definitely think it can hold a figure's weight. So pretty cool. We'll try that a little bit later, but really nice. The second to last accessory goes with the last accessory, and of course it's that saliva effect. It is a really nice little effect, and I like that they're kind of doing this. It's a brand new accessory in Marvel Legends, so a really cool effect. But let's see how it looks on its accessory. Here is the saliva effect on the very last accessory, which of course is this tongue head. It is a very nice accessory, and I love the effect that it gives it. It is a bit difficult to put on. You're going to want to very carefully wiggle it into the mouth so you don't damage the teeth or the paint. But it does work once it's in there, and it's really cool. But now let's see how this head looks without the piece. And of course, it's still as cool. I really love this head sculpt. Definitely going to be displaying my figure with this. The tongue is not removable or movable at all. I think I would have liked that, so then you could kind of maybe even put a Spidey head inside the mouth. That would have just looked awesome. But it is still a pretty cool head sculpt and very, very nicely detailed. Let's go ahead and take a look at Venom. Starting with the detail, he looks amazing all the way around. Of course, the only painted detail is the spider on his chest and the white in his eyes as well as his mouth. But of course, the sculpted detail is just amazing, and the size of this guy is just awesome. All the way around, really nicely detailed. And I love the way they did the butterfly joints to make the spider extend so it looks seamless. And then of course, all the way down, just looks really awesome. Having this guy on the shelf is going to be so cool, so menacing. Having a whole spider display, I cannot wait. But let's go ahead and see if his articulation matches the incredible detail. Starting at the head, he can look up about that much, which isn't a whole lot. And then he can look down about that much, which again isn't a whole lot. I would have liked a little bit more because, of course, you have to have him looking down at Spidey or something. But maybe you could use the torso. We'll check that out in a minute. But let's look at the butterfly joint. Butterfly joint can move forward and back. Pretty good amount. It's really good, especially for this big figure. The arm can go out about that much, which is really good. That's even more than the Hulk could get, so that's great. Maximum Hulk can't even get that high, so that's great. Of course, you get a really nice bicep swivel. You do get double hinged elbows, which get way more than 90. They could go all the way together. That's amazing. And then at the wrists, of course, you can go in and out, and you can spit it. Checking on the other side, the butterfly joint, of course, goes in and out. The arm can go about that high. Again, incredible. The bicep can swivel. You get that double hinged elbow, which again, absolutely incredible movement. And then, of course, at the wrist, you do get inwards and outwards and some swivel. And this hand is really nice for grabbing. But pretty great upper articulation minus the head. I would have liked a bit more there, but the arms, amazing. At the torso, he can bend a whole lot. Wow. Just the torso itself, not even this joint down here. He gets pretty good crunch and back as well. And then using that joint, you can bend him even more. About that far, and then forward about that far. So some really incredible movement. I did see another review where I saw someone noticing that there was some paint chipping as you move the upper torso. So you just want to be careful with that. But other than that, some pretty great upper articulation here. He could really get any pose you want. And then, of course, moving to the legs, they can kick out about that much, which is, again, incredible for this big figure. He can kick forward all the way. He can not kick back too much without, of course, moving his leg back outwards. But great forward and side to side. Of course, you have this thigh swivel. You have a double hinged knee. Oh, be careful with that. Looks like the ankles wants to come out. Oh, and there's the double hinged. So really good, but again, be careful here so this piece doesn't come out. And then, of course, you do get this kind of upper ankle swivel. You do get rotation for the ankle. You could go down, up, of course, pivoting side to side. And of course, you get toe joints, which is great. Checking on the other side, you can kick out, of course, all the way, which is great. You can kick back, not too much, but you could kick out a whole lot. Thigh swivel, double jointed knee, movement at the upper ankle, of course, upwards and downwards for the ankle joints, pivot, and toe joints. So some really great movement all around. I'm really impressed with this figure. The only thing that I would say is definitely the head. I feel like the head could have had a little bit better articulation, but everything else is amazing, and I can't wait to get this guy into some poses. So let me go ahead, get him in a pose. I'll show you some comparisons, and then of course we'll end with my final thoughts. First up here is Venom with the Maximum Series Hulk, and Hulk looks just like a small, tiny little action figure here. It is really cool to have them here together, and I just can't wait to get them into so many poses. Maximum Hulk is already a really big figure compared to his standard Marvel Legends, and having them two here, just, it doesn't even compare. Venom is massive. Here is Venom and Maximum Spider-Man, and I just want to show you him compared to Maximum Spider-Man in a bit of a pose. Of course, it doesn't compare, but let me show you him standing up. Here he is standing next to Venom, and of course, he is about half the size of him. It's just really cool to see this size difference, and of course, making battle scenes with these figures is just going to be so cool, so much fun. Here he is with the Spider-Man 2 Miles Morales. Let me go ahead and stand him up for you. Of course, Miles Morales is a bit shorter than Peter Parker, so having them here together, it's really cool to see an even smaller figure next to Venom. And just thinking about making a display with Miles Morales, Peter Parker, all fighting Venom, it's just gonna look really nice. And just for fun, here is Venom holding on to Maximum Spider-Man, and this pose just looks so cool. Just a side note though, I wouldn't recommend keeping your figure like this because the joint is a bit too weak to be holding a figure of that weight, but it is still really cool to see these two together and to see this pose even possible. And of course with this large Venom and Spider-Man, you're gonna have a lot of fun posing this guy. But now, let's move on to my final thoughts. So what do I think about the Marvel Legends Spider-Man 2 Venom action figure from Hasbro? This figure is definitely yet another must-buy from Marvel Legends. It's just so much fun to mess around with, to play around with, and pose him, especially with Spider-Man. And the detail and the articulation is just incredible on this guy. You definitely wouldn't think he'd have such good articulation for a big guy, but even comparing it to like the Marvel Maximum Series Hulk, this guy wins like by far. The articulation is great, and the only thing I would change is probably the head movement. I feel like that could have been a bit better, but everything else about this guy is amazing. And also addressing the $60 price tag, honestly, I think it is justified for what you're getting with this guy. It's just so amazing. So if you guys already have this figure, of course, let me know down in the comments what you think about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.